News live now on Facebook, YouTube, or the VNL app every Thursday at 1 p.m. to help us honor those who served and the people who support them.
Hi, welcome to Valley News Now. This is Valley Veterans every Thursday at 1. Thank you, Jason, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Jesse.
Well, we have been having a fun Veterans Day. We did an amazing interview that we'll get to show you later. That was, just incredible. 40 years since the terrorist bombing of Beirut.
Yep, the Beirut barracks, the Marine Corps barracks.
Yep, and we had a young gentleman that had lived in Sabin, who was 21 years old at the time.
Correct.
Got to meet with his family and tell stories about what an amazing kid he was. I'm going to call him a kid because 21.
He was a kid.
He was a kid.
21 is a kid.
Yeah, so we look forward to sharing that with you too, but we've got some other exciting things to talk about today. We've got another interview coming up, but first we'd like to show you what's going on with the Fargo Memorial Honor Guard. So I'll take you to the Facebook page and I'll let Jason help me out here. Okay, cool. There we go.
Well, the first thing you'll see on there, of course, is we have the haunted house. Or no, let me take that back. The North Dakota National Guard is having a kids event in the theme of Halloween. They're doing a little get-together picnic kind of thing.
Okay,
with,
this
dogs
is
and
awesome.
Fun for the kids and everything.
Very fun. Okay, I was thinking this was our other Halloween event that we were talking about, but no, this is. So where is this at? What are the details here? Okay, we've got 5 to 7. It's on October 19th, which is today.
Yep.
Okay, so perfect.
It's this evening.
It is this evening, so that will be really fun. So take your kids out to that 3920 31st Street North in Fargo, I'm assuming?
Yes, and for acronym control, I believe it's the Armed Forces Reserve Center.
Thank you.
3920 31st Street North. Way up north there.
Okay.
By, north of the airport.
Oh, nice. Okay.
They always
so
put
perfect.
these cute little acronyms, and people are like, "What does that mean?"
I know. I'm like, I got nothing here.
Yeah. It's just one of those goes with the territory.
Yes. Well, that's why we have you here to help us out, so we can decipher.
Yes, acronym control.
Acronym control. Good. So that's going on tonight. That'd be great to let your kids dress up and head out there. And then this is the other haunted house event that we're talking
Next
about.
Week, we'll be going with the Theta Chi fraternity and doing a haunted house. And since Halloween is like the most awesome holiday there is,
right?
I'm super excited about this. And,
Do you have a costume for Halloween?
What kind of question? Of course.
Of course.
My favorite holiday.
Oh, cool. Did we get to know what that is, or is it a surprise?
No,
okay.
It's always a surprise. The cool thing with these guys is their fraternity is very much part of their charter. They're based on supporting the military.
Yeah.
And the proceeds from this are going to go to the USO.
Wow.
The USO is at every airport, major airport in the area, and then they're the ones that come and put on like a Toby Keith show when you're in the desert, things like that.
Cool.
And they bring country and Western, both types of music, and then sometimes they'll bring rock and stuff like that. But the USO goes everywhere that there's soldiers or Marines or airmen, sailors, and put on shows for these guys because they're not at home, and it just gives them the feeling.
Yeah. What have you, when you've been serving, have you had that experience where the USO has come?
I've had a few.
Yeah. What's that like?
It's neat, and it feels so good because you know that there's so much support for our military.
Yeah.
And people donate to these things. These people are voluntarily doing this, and they just come.
Good.
And it's really neat.
Cool.
Really
So it feels like, people are here supporting, and probably feels like a little bit of normalcy, maybe?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's good.
It's a lot of fun.
So all the money goes to that from the haunted house, plus you get to go to a haunted house.
Plus we go to a haunted house.
So that is coming up October 27th, and we're going to take a sneak peek next week too and show you that during Valley Veterans.
Yes.
So you can see that. I got some feedback in my ear here. Okay, let's see what else is happening.
Welcome to my world. It's my hearing aids. I on occasion get feedback.
Get the
It's
little
like
feedback?
or my phone will start to ring as I'm having a conversation, and
It's just what it is.
So this is the Brady Oberg Legacy Foundation is doing a event next a couple weeks from now, actually, November 2nd.
Yeah.
Be downtown at the Radisson, and they'll auction some items off and just let more people be aware of what they do. They were created to help veterans with PTSD,
Okay.
and they're the family's very local, and they're just a great organization, and we've supported them since day one when they started.
That's awesome.
And just what they stand for and what they do. And we're actually going to have them on one of our episodes in the future, so we can fully get into what
Explain
they do.
to, yeah.
I really can't do it justice what all they do, and so we are going to have them.
That will be great too to see. But for now, you can look at Brady Oberg Legacy on Facebook. They've also got a website as well, Brady Oberg Legacy Foundation. And I'll just click there so you know what it looks like if you head on over there to see what they've provide. So yeah, amazing. I love that. We serve veterans because they served us, and that's what we want to continue to do.
And that's what we're all about.
Yeah, because that's why we get to be here. You know, that's why we
Yep.
get to do what we do. So we're also waiting for a Zoom call. I'm just going to quick check and see if he's possibly on, and I haven't let him in yet. All right, I'll leave it on. Here we go. All right.
I've never
is
been on
fun.
this end of a Zoom thing to see how it all.
To see how it works.
The magic.
Here we
behind it.
go. The magic behind. Ah, there he is. Look at
And he's
that.
smiling.
So
Always
perfect.
smiling.
We'll do a little split screen. All right, Jason, I'm going to make you sneak in a little tighter with me so we can all fit on the camera.
Can we hear him?
All right, I can hear you in my ear. I'm going to turn it on so Jason can hear you as
Oh.
well.
She has it hooked
All
up
right.
to her Bluetooth thing.
Okay, how about now?
You got me?
Yes.
Gotcha. Looking good, Dave. Looking
Okay.
good.
Okay, so
Well,
we're
thank
kind of
you for
like
having me
half.
on.
There we are. Good to see you, Dave. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
All right. Sorry, my earpiece is just trying to get all the sound in there. Okay, so we're talking about your amazing organization. Can I call it an organization? American Heroes Outdoors.
Yep, that's it.
Awesome. So tell us about it.
American Heroes Outdoors started in 2009, and it started out as a branch off of another organization called Wounded Warriors Guide Service, which I also helped establish in Minnesota and North Dakota. Basically, it started out with hunting and fishing veterans, events for veterans and injured veterans specifically, but American Heroes Outdoors branched out more to first responders as well. And we wanted to take it from just adventures. There's always something missing. You know, I've been in the service for 20 years now, and I'm still active duty, and there's a lot of organizations like the Brady Oberg Legacy Foundation and Fishing with Vets and Hunters Helping Heroes, and the list could go on, that take these heroes out for outdoors adventures. But for me, it was about the stories. It was about the stories of heroism and camaraderie and service and sacrifice that you got a front row seat to during these adventures. And so we wanted to capture the stories and put them on TV. So that's kind of what makes American Heroes Outdoors different, is that we capture stories during our events, and then we broadcast them on social media, Midco Sports Network, Valley Sports North, and then some streaming options. And we have new for this next year, our season 10, we're going to be launching on the Sportsman's Channel nationally. So we're taking our stories to a national level starting January 1st.
That's really exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great work, Dave. That is excellent.
They're really good. I was watching them the last couple of days, and it's so great to see those stories told. And yeah, just excellent work. Wonderful to share those.
Well, and it's a lot of fun, but it takes a lot of effort. And in the beginning, it was basically myself and a couple of friends, and now I'm kind of on the side, keeping an eye on everything, and it's the rest of our crew. It's
Wow.
our 7 board of directors and our 21 ambassadors. We have 3 paid employees. My co-host Scott St. Sauver, Wes Gall, and Kayla Hansen. I mean, they're putting the time in. So the kudos to them for taking it to where it's at now.
Oh, 10 years. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, a lot has changed, but in the same sense, a lot has stayed the same with our core values and our sponsors and things like that.
Yeah.
And so, in addition to just military, which traditionally these are, you're also reaching out to first responders, police, fire, EMTs, things like that. So that's
we
really
even
neat.
opened it up to nurses. Yeah, it's really
Right.
anybody in the medical or first responder
Right.
field, which is nice.
All right. Yeah, we'll have you scoot to there you go. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Got to fit us all in the camera here.
And he's very much fitting into the service theme. That's, because
Yes.
all those branches, there's a level of service there. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely, Jason.
So were we going to talk about this snowblower thing as well?
Yes,
let
we
you
had
lead. Okay.
talked earlier, and you had teamed up with Sparklight and we actually got an email asking about this, that your organization helps connect veterans with snowblowers if they win the contest, correct?
Yeah, one of the crazy things, and you can attest as well, Jason, is once you're involved in something and people start hearing about it, people reach out to you about opportunities.
Yeah.
And we've been doing the snowblowers with Sparklight and Shields Foam and Hardware out of Fargo for 3 years now, and it's been amazing, the outpouring of support. We go on the radio a couple times, shows like this, and veterans just come out of the woodwork nominating other veterans. You rarely get a veteran calling to nominate themselves, which is pretty cool.
Right.
So kicking off in November, in a couple weeks here, we'll start taking nominations on our website. There'll be a nominate tab for the snowblowers, and it'll also be on all our social media platforms. So we'll gather the nominations, and then probably in December this year, we'll do a Publishers Clearinghouse style giveaway
Cool.
in Fargo Moorhead.
So we have like a giant snowblower that you come up with or something? Oh, no.
No,
Just you'll go to their door and
We
say
act-
surprise. Okay.
we actually bring the snowblower. Yeah,
Right.
we
Nice.
run it. Hopefully there's some fresh snow, so we're blowing our driveway out.
I hope there's snow by deer hunting for sure, but that's me.
You never know.
That's really cool. So how do people nominate somebody? We'll just maybe reiterate that. I know you talked a little bit about it. Where do they go?
To AmericanHeroesOutdoors.com, and it's not set up yet, so don't go till November 1st.
Okay, November 1st.
Yep, AmericanHeroesOutdoors.com. Through the month of November, we'll pick the veteran, and we'll deliver it somewhere around the second week in December.
Wow, perfect. Yeah.
And we'll definitely share that on the Fargo Memorial Honor Guard page so people can connect to this, and of course Valley News Live with their stuff. We'll share all your information to get it out there. But
Yeah.
we did receive an email about this.
Yes, they
So-
were asking, and so we get emails, valley.veterans@valleynewslive.com. You can send us your questions, your stories, anything that you want us to talk about, questions you want us to answer. And so this was somebody that came to us saying, I think I heard a story last year about this time, and they wanted to know again what the details were. So thank you for providing that for us.
Yeah, and once we get our flyer put together, hopefully this week or next week, I can send that over to you if you guys want to
Yeah.
throw that up. That'd be awesome.
That would be great. Yeah, we would love to do that. So put a reminder in your phone, everyone. November 1st, you can go and nominate a veteran that could use a snowblower.
Yes. And then additionally, we had talked a little bit that you had partnered up with the Brady Oberg Legacy Foundation and was it Sparklight or Shields for the ice house that you allow veterans to use? The ice
Yeah,
castle.
most definitely. So that is Patriot House Project. So right now we have 5 different events kicking off in November, December. The Patriot House Project is one. The snowblower giveaway is one. We have closing titles for veterans. So the title company in Fargo. I don't know how much time we have, but
We have
that
plenty of
kicks
time.
off.
Yeah, we got unlimited.
So
It's
we'll
the
hit
internet.
Patriot-
Unlimited.
We'll hit Patriot House Project quick. That is an arm of American Heroes Outdoors that's blown up. So that
Right.
was one of those things where Ice Castle came and reached out to us and said, hey, could we help out in any way? So they donated an ice castle a couple of years ago, a fish house. And now with the partnership of other organizations such as the Brady Oberg Legacy Foundation, we've been able to field 4 ice castle fish houses for year-round use. So in the summertime, they go to area resorts, and in the wintertime, they go on area lakes. Right now, we for 2024, we have one in South Dakota, one at Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, one in Park Rapids, and one down at Lake Mille Lacs. Free fish houses on the fish, on the ice, year-round, ready to fish. They sign up through patriothouseproject.com, and they can go check out those fish houses. We average about 500 veterans and their families through these fish houses every year.
Wow. That's incredible. So maybe can you talk a little bit about, what that means to veterans? It isn't just about hunting and fishing, but what that does, for in a therapeutic way.
Yeah, well, I mean, as you all know, and as I'm sure you've heard people talk about, is, the outdoors has a calming sense, and it really can. You don't think about anything else when you're out there. You're watching your bobber, or you're sitting there watching a decoy, or looking at the trees. You're out in nature, and really all of life's stressors absolve. And then you put in the fact that you can bring a family member or a friend out there to enjoy those experiences with you, and you make lifelong memories. So it's basically a win-win-win. And when we can remove the constraints of, the financial constraints that not everyone can afford a $50,000 ice house and put it on the ice and drill holes and have the time to do that, we can take care of that for them and get them a little closer to those experiences. That's what it's all about.
That's awesome. Yeah.
is awesome.
So many layers there too. You
Right.
know, the fun of getting to do that, and the therapeutic benefits and the memories with your family. It's amazing.
And just Dave willing to give his time back.
Yeah.
I mean, we try to emphasize that the most, that the sense of service that a lot of us have through the military and beyond, of giving back. And, you know, Dave, you're a prime example of that. I mean, to me, you're a kid, even though you've been in for 20 years. But, you know, I really appreciate you continuing to do what you're doing.
Well, it's a lot of fun and it's very rewarding. And for me now in my position, the reward comes from other people stepping out. I mean, we have one lead guy, Staff Sergeant Adam Walker, runs our entire Patriot House project.
well.
He's out of Detroit Lakes and he's a volunteer, right? But he probably puts in 100 hours a year, and it's because we made the platform and he's running with it. So that's where it's rewarding for me, is to make a platform so that others can give back too, and that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of, you know, part of what we're hoping to do here too, is to plug people in, to connect people with not only resources like you've got, but to be able to volunteer as well.
Because I imagine you
I
also
definitely-
need volunteers.
Most definitely, and this is an awesome platform. And to be honest, you know, being out of the Fargo-Moorhead area, I still work there, but I haven't been there in a long time, and I don't have TV. Before you contacted me, I didn't even know this existed. So I'm already following. I'm going to be sharing. I'm going to be watching. I
Awesome.
think what you guys do is amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, well, thanks for being on. This is what makes it great, is that we can connect with people who are doing awesome things. So if somebody does want to volunteer, how can they do that?
There's a contact us at our website, and that's
Okay.
at AmericanHeroesOutdoors.com. I'm a volunteer. There's 26 other volunteers. We call them ambassadors. And we pay you with free American Heroes Outdoors hats and sweatshirts and stuff. So
We do the
pretty
same with the honor
lucrative
guard.
Yeah.
deal.
It's a good
Give 'em
sell.
what you can give them, right?
Yeah.
And then we have the other swag too that we,
Hey,
as you do too. So.
yeah.
You
Swag's
know,
a good
and
incentive.
one of the things that we were talking about is that we do plan to expand past the Fargo-Moorhead area, because, you know,
Yeah.
quite honestly, being in 2 of the 136, you know, guys all the way up to the Canadian border and back that do all these various things. So we're not just tied to Fargo-Moorhead. So we could come out to Park Rapids. We could come out to your fishing tournament in Devil's Lake in, what is that, February you do that?
January 14th.
January.
All right.
13th, yeah.
Put you on the
13th.
spot there with the date, but you know, that'd be a fun thing to go out, because that's their
Yeah.
annual fishing tournament on Devil's Lake.
Well,
so.
tell me about that.
So every year since our inception, probably even before our inception, we've worked with Woodland Resort to Devil's Lake, North Dakota, which is the premier outdoor capital of the world. If you ask me, you can hunt pretty much anything. It's world-class fishing. It's phenomenal. And Woodland Resort is extremely pro-veteran and pro-military. And Kyle and his team there have opened the doors. And now I think it's 12 or 13 years that we've been doing that. And it's a fishing tournament open to the public. And we use it as a fundraiser. So we have a large banquet there in their banquet hall. It's a 2-day ordeal. It's run and gun on the ice, very competitive fishing. And then we have VIP teams of veterans and first responders that we put out in our ice castle fish houses, and then they tell their stories. It's a big deal.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're definitely going to have to go to that
Yep.
this year.
The invite is open. We get you stood up in the hotel, and we'd love to have you guys be a part of it.
Oh, that would be great.
And we can show Tom that people do drink beer in the wintertime. It's called ice fishing. We had this conversation last week, and I'm like, "You're crazy. You've never ice fished?" And yeah,
He hadn't been ice fishing?
well, he doesn't store beer in the wintertime because he doesn't drink beer. And I was like, "You don't ice fish?" And no, he does not
No.
ice fish. So we'll have to bring Tom out, and we'll do something funny to him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Get an eel pout on for him or something. I don't know.
I'd be all for it.
Yeah, yeah.
love
Well,
it.
you obviously know
Only
him too,
because
so
it's
yeah.
Tom. Yeah. Hopefully he's listening or watching.
Oh, I'm sure.
He
I'm
better
sure.
be.
So you've been in 20 years now. Wow. What do you plan to do when you retire, if you're going to retire from military service? When you grow up, as they say.
Yeah, I hit my 20 in February, and
Okay.
I have about 10 years left in the back of my head. That's what I'm going for. So once I get to that 30-year mark, I'll be 43, 44 years old,
Wow.
and I plan on retiring full-time and taking up a part-time job at a bait shop maybe, and just being an at-home dad
Sure.
for my kids that are out of the house. So
Love.
Awesome. Awesome.
Points for Dave right there.
And obviously you're not at it doesn't appear you're at Sunny Camp Ripple right now, or are you? You just spent
No,
some time down there.
I'm on vacation today. So I'm
Gotcha.
Oh.
Took leave.
I'm going out deer hunting here in a little bit. So
Oh, great.
Oh,
great.
thank you so much for taking time from your vacation to do this with us.
that's the only way to do it.
Right.
True. Well, we do have plenty of time. Is there other things you'd like to talk about with American Outdoors, Heroes Outdoors?
What's one of the funnest hunting trips you've been part of?
Yeah.
Ooh. So you're asking me to look back over 10 years of my memory.
Hey,
I know.
we have 9 more minutes. You can tell us many stories.
I guess, when I think about the best adventures that I've been a part of, you can think about whether it was the hunt that was great or what made it great, or whether it was the story. And for me, one of the things that sticks out is one of the most amazing stories of service and sacrifice I've been a part of. And ever since we did this show in Devil's Lake fishing, this man has become my mentor and my best friend. He's a retired Marine recon soldier, and in Vietnam, his helicopter got shot down. And I think that was season 3 or 4 for us. But if you look it up, his name's Jeff Savicol, and that was it's an amazing story. We actually did 2 stories on him. He was one of the only few to survive. They didn't find the remains of all of his buddies for 30 years, and he went back, and when the remains came back, he was there. But he's got some amazing stories. He's a great human, and I think that one has burned and etched itself in my memory for the rest of my life, and in turn has made me a better person and a better dad and a better soldier, just because I want to strive to be Jeff in my own life, my own respect. So that's a special one for me. Aside from that, we've had some really, really good hunting and fishing trips. We've been on Lake Erie fishing, and if you ever want to catch 30-inch walleyes all day long till your arm falls off, Lake Erie's the place to do it. I think we caught 40 fish over 25 inches in 6 hours, and we were there in 2017. It's the largest storm they've had in 25 years. We were on the lake, and I was with the owner of Warrior Boats, who has now since passed, but that experience out there, just hand over, fist catching 25, 30-inch walleyes, and seeing that the veterans I had in my boat they couldn't stop smiling. And they didn't stop talking about it for years. They still talk about it.
That's awesome. That sounds like a fantastic fishing trip.
Yeah, that's impressive by anyone's standard.
Yeah,
Holy cow.
definitely.
I've seen a lot of firsts. Just this last year, we took a South Dakota retired military, 30 years, retired sergeant major, 20 years in law enforcement as well. And he was a county veteran service officer down in the Aberdeen area, I think. We took him out to western South Dakota with a couple of friends on a archery mule deer hunt. And he didn't say it at the time, but he's never killed a buck with a bow. He's only killed does. And 2 years prior to that, his dad passed away and gave him a buck knife that was his, so passed it down generationally.
Wow.
That trip, day 1, we got him on a 220-inch mule deer.
Holy.
And the base antlers on this mule deer were bigger than my fists. They went and they sat for 3 hours while this mule deer was bedded down 30 yards from him, and we recorded it through a spotting scope 900 yards away. Because they snuck over a hill, and this mule deer was bedded down in front of him on a fence line, and it got up, and it could have went anywhere, but it got up and turned towards him and took 3 steps and then turned broadside as this 50-year-old guy got up on his knees and dusted that mule deer at 30 yards through a fence. It ran 50 yards and sat there and died. There's pictures and the videos on our website, but it looks like an elk. And he's sitting there as he's gutting this thing, and he starts crying and talking about how his dad, who was a World War II veteran, just passed away, gave him the buck knife he was using, and he's never shot a buck with his bow. And it was just goosebumps right now even talking about it.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a monster.
Yeah, man, that means a lot. I get where I don't have words for these stories because they're so emotional, but so many layers there, and that therapeutic benefit where he got to talk about what it was like losing his dad, about his dad's memory. Those kind of things, you can't make that happen in a different kind of situation, I feel like.
No, and it's the outdoors and the experiences together and the hunts and the fishing trips, they really facilitate those kind of conversations, because you can't, what I've realized is you can't walk up to some stranger off the street and say, tell me about your deepest, darkest moment in your life.
Right.
you gotta form a bond and sit down and just let it happen, and in the outdoors is where that happens.
That's cool. Yeah. And that's what your organization's all about. How amazing is that?
Smiles and cries, that's what it's about, is making people happy, and you know, when people share those stories that are oftentimes dark and sad and stuff, at the end of it, they always say the same thing: that feels good. It feels good just to talk about it because it's been 20 years or whatever.
Right.
Wow.
And we've had 5 or 6 people that have been on our show that are no longer with us today, and their stories would never have been captured. They would have died with them.
Right.
And to know how many World War II veterans passed away before we got a chance to share their stories. And I think that's where American Heroes Outdoors came from, is my grandpa died in 2008, which was 2 years before American Heroes Outdoors. And he took 99% of his stories to the grave. And that still hurts today for me, is not to be able to have captured those stories. So
Well, you're doing it now, and you're doing it for so
Heck
many
yeah.
people.
And you're doing it well. You're doing really good.
Yeah.
We're very proud of you and everything that you accomplished. So,
well, it's good to be a part of it. And I would be remiss, I mean, our partnership this year, the partners that we make, partners like Valley Veterans, and all of our sponsors, and all of the people that have stepped up and been a part of American Heroes Outdoors, or that are doing things for our nation's heroes on their own accord. This most recent one we're extremely excited about, because the title company out of Fargo reached out and said, "Hey, we want to give back to veterans, and we heard that you know people that know people." So I said, "Yeah, I'm the idea guy. Let's get together and let's make something work." So every veteran that closes with the title company in the month of November, they're going to make a donation, and along with other sponsors, they've teamed up with a few other sponsors in the area to support that cause in the month of November. So you got Bell Bank and the Red Hen and Best Western Bank. And those organizations are all giving back. Quality Concrete, Valley Landscaping, Shields, Cass County Abstract. So the title company went and got a bunch of organizations together, and they said, every veteran that closes, we're going to give them some American Heroes Outdoors swag, and we're going to make a donation to American Heroes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that donation and spread it out to other veterans organizations in the Fargo-Moorhead area, so that it stays local, because that's a pretty big piece of it. Is
right.
We want our funding to stay local. And then we're gonna have kind of a get together at the Red Hen in Moorhead, right across the tracks there, on November 9th, where we're gonna do silent auctions and kind of it's not really kicking that off, but we're gonna maybe launch it from there on November 9th at the Red Hen.
Okay. Well, that's good to know too, that you've got that coming up. Another way that we can
Yep.
we
and
can
we will
support.
blast that out there as well.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, I like you said, these partnerships, the more that we can get to know what other organizations are going on. One thing I just admire about all of you guys that I've met so far is whenever you get a gift, you want to spread it to everyone else. I don't think I've ever seen that in an organization where, well, we got a donation, but we wanted to give that back to, spread the wealth and touch as many people as possible. So I just commend you and thank you for that.
And I think that goes back to service, right? And people that serve,
Right.
it's ingrained into them. That's just what they do. When they get something, they look to the left and right and say, all right, where can this go? Who needs it the most?
And that's something that needs to, just that message alone, that's something that needs to
message
be
alone.
spread. Yep,
You
we
bet.
take that in, let's look to the left and right and see, who can I share this with?
With the cool thing with the veterans community is that it is relatively small, but we're tight knit.
Yeah,
And whether you were in the Air Force, the Navy, the Army, the Marines, we all have that bit part of us. Granted, we still love to make fun of each other.
Yes.
It's just one of the things we do. But at the end of the day, we all have a common sense and a common worth of what it is to give back. And I see that every single day with everyone I deal with, guys like Dave, guys like Adam Walker, who I knew as a private, so
you guys
it's
all
just-
tend to know each other's deep secrets too, which I enjoy.
Right,
you
right.
know?
And it's just really cool that we have that tight knit of a group. We're all, at the end of the day, we are doing stuff for our fellow veterans in our community, and that's really what we try to push the most, is that we're more than just this small group of guys that sit around and drink beer and tell war stories. We're getting away from that idea.
Yeah, that idea.
You
Yeah.
nailed it. That still happens, but it just,
And it still happens a lot.
it's not what it's all about, right?
Right. Small part.
After the event, that can happen too, and there's a lot of good happening there too. A lot of
Right.
connections, a lot of camaraderie, a lot of therapy really there as
Yes.
well. Yeah. Awesome, Dave. Well, thank you so much for taking time away from your vacation. I really appreciate it, and it's so good to get to meet you and hear more about what you do. And we'll just continue to be in contact in the future and see how we can work together to serve veterans.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been a blast, and it's truly been a great experience for me.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, thank you. We'll
Thank you,
let you
Dave.
go. Yeah, so Dave Morris again from American Heroes Outdoors. Jason Hicks and myself, I'm Jesse Ahmet, your host of Valley News Now.
Valley News Now and Cashway Distributing are partnering to celebrate the veterans